What is up, my Jazzketballers? We are back for another episode. I just got home from the game, and me and Down were talking on Twitter Spaces before I actually started this, and he's like, "How was it in this suite?" I said, it was good. My wife was able to get 4 suite tickets. She works in the suite, so she's like, "Hey, I made well." Anyway, she just got tickets. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to take my kids. That's the only way I can go because I can't find a babysitter. My 2-year-old was free. My 4-year-old needed a ticket. And so I essentially only needed 2 tickets to get in. So I decided I'm going to tweet out, hey, who wants to go to the Jazz game? 2 free tickets. Suite tickets, full bar. Well, okay, not full bar. Wine and beer for free. Food. I mean, they feed you a lot of food. Dessert. I ate like 2 or 3 of those ice cream Snicker bars. I'm not feeling the best. But so I gave the tickets away to the first person that responded, and then I had a bunch more that wanted to come, and the person that I gave the tickets away to, I won't say names, but never showed up. So I guess I need to select who I give tickets away to a little bit better. It was last minute, so I just gave them to the first person that responded, and wish I would. I mean, it was nice because we had extra room, right, in the suite, but I mean, there's a ton of room in the suite anyways, so. And so let's get into the game. I really want to dive into the players that are good on the Charlotte Hornets. First, we'll dive into who is the best on the Jazz. What did you see as a Jazz fan? Lauri Markkanen, again, dominated, leads the Jazz with 25 points. Terry Rozier had 23 points for the Charlotte Hornets, as you can see on the screen if you're on YouTube. Welcome. Oh, Alejandro's back. A little late, bud. I'm getting your chats here though. Come on, bro. Late to your own show. Yeah, I just got back from the arena. I had to go. Had to get my kids down because my wife's working at the arena. So sorry, it doesn't always happen, but tonight it's happening. And then yo, you are late. You guys have been waiting. I love it. I love that I have some people that are tuning in wanting to see the show. Alejandro said, "This dude is so unprofessional, man. How you expect to grow as a channel when you leaving people waiting like this?" Well, I guess you could call me a real fan because I went to the game, or you could call me unprofessional. We've grown pretty damn quick, so yeah. You don't have to watch.
Come on,
Alejandro, you don't have to watch, man. I've got 2 kids and a life, so if you want to pay me to do the podcast, then I'll start every single one exactly on time. But yeah, we basically are late tonight because I got 2 tickets at the last second and wasn't planning on going to the game. So, Alejandro?
Jordan lives about 30 or 40 minutes away from the arena, so you got to give him a little time to get home.
Yeah. And to be fair, too, and luckily it was a blowout because I usually never leave games early, but we left with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So, take it easy, bro. Take it easy. Back to the game. Rebounds. Lauri again leads us with 11. I remember at points during the season we were saying how he's not a great rebounder. It seems like he leads the team every game and has every right. He's 7 feet, right? You should be getting rebounds, but I don't know if we were not giving him enough credit for his rebounding. Jalen McDaniels led the Charlotte Hornets with 9. Dennis Smith Jr. He was a free agent, unsigned at the beginning of the season. I remember us talking about wanting to sign him as a point guard. Down, do you remember how much they signed Dennis Smith Jr. for?
That is a good question. I will go find out right now for you.
Yeah, look it up. I mean, he exploded in Dallas, was really promising, and then they drafted Luka, and it seemed like he just kind of took the back seat, went to, I believe, New York after that. Was it New York?
Yeah, I believe he was in New York. Yep.
Yeah, and just hasn't had quite the same career. An undersized guard, so we always talk about that as well. Like, you can only do so much with undersized guards. Look at what we had with Conley and Don, and then you had McCollum and Lillard in Portland, and they still kind of got a small ball lineup.
It looks like he is on. It would be probably a veteran's minimum, 1.8.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, I mean, I would take him over THT or Na or Balmero.
10-day contract with them in September.
And then he's on a full contract now.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Taylor Horton-Tucker surprisingly led the Jazz in assists, which was nice to see. He had a monster dunk along the baseline, which really got the crowd going. Probably the loudest the crowd was. I believe there was one. What was the other play that there? I was watching my kids, so my mind's like all over the place. There was one other play.
I don't know. I did, when you mentioned THT, I just wanted to give him a shout out. I think he led the team in plus minus. I'm not entirely sure, but
we'll look.
Really well tonight, yeah.
We'll look over there. Go Chai, what up? Welcome to Twitter Spaces. I'll request you real quick. We're just jumping into stats and the leaders of the game. As far as blocks, guess who led us in blocks?
Don't know. It looks like everybody had one.
Yeah, but this is hilarious. On NBA.com, it has Mike Conley as the leader in blocks. I guess they gave it to Mike Conley because he rarely gets blocks, so they said, yeah, we'll give it to him this time.
Yeah, there's 4 people that had 1 block, so.
Okay, and then Mark Williams led Charlotte Hornets for 3. We really rebounded the ball well, I thought. Like
He's
you said,
nice player for them, by the way.
Mark Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of had my eye on Gordon Hayward because the rumors from NBA Central, the Twitter account, is the Charlotte Hornets are taking calls for Gordon Hayward in trades. I looked at his contract, and I thought,
Isn't it insane?
it's like $30 million. I'd have to look it up again. Let's actually do that real quick.
I'm looking it up right now for you.
I'm gonna do it for our Twitter or for our YouTube.
Gotcha.
Gordon Hayward contract.
Got 2 years left, 30 and 31.
Yeah, so here's my thought on Hayward, and I ran a little trade thinking, okay, if we could get Hayward back and he is what he is, I wouldn't expect him to like all of a sudden return to his all-star form. But if we could just kind of upgrade a position, obviously take on a bigger contract, but what else could we get? And what else do we need to improve? I really like Mason Plumlee on their team.
Locke said that on the broadcast too. I guess he was like a 39% free throw shooter last season, and this offseason he switched to a left-handed free throw shooting.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. What's he shooting now? Shooting left.
Let me go look real fast.
So Plumlee, I'm gonna look at his shot
64%.
chart. 64%.
So doubled. That's pretty good.
Yeah, and for someone to do that, I don't think a lot of NBA players would actually just do that mid-season. But tonight he went 5 for 6.
Yeah.
He got all of his points inside. I just think he's an upgrade from Vando and Olynyk, right? If he's a backup center, he can play center, but I think he can also play the 4 along Walker, Kessler, and maybe give Lauri a break or run the 3 of them together. So he's one other that I would like. And then I thought, well, why not get a pick? Danny Ainge is so high on the 2024 draft pick. Make him throw in a first rounder. And I believe let's just go to Trade Machine. I believe the trade that I had was Vando going there, Clarkson. Oh, Now I can't remember. Let's just go put this in. But the trade worked out. My question is for Jazz fans, and you can leave this down in the comments below. Is Hayward someone you would take back? I know that the fans were still booing him every time he got the ball. And like, I get it, right? He did us dirty, but like, if he could help us, would you reunite?
As a fan, I say no. As a GM, I say yes.
How is his performance this year when he plays?
It's just subpar. And watching him in person, like, it's almost like he got a big contract, and it's kind of sad because it looks like he plays with no passion. And
kind of like his last year in Utah.
Yeah, I don't know. You just had those years that he was so good here and passionate and competitive, and you wonder when these players sign these huge contracts if they just.
He's only played half of their games though this season.
Yeah, I think the injuries took a lot out of Gordon, man. Just kind of like the same with if you look at Markelle Fultz or even Dennis Smith Jr., their injuries took a lot out of them.
So who would you give up for? Basically, it's Plumlee at $9 million a year. He's got 1 year left, is what I'd be interested in. But
if we're taking on Hayward's contract, I'd want picks back.
Yeah, and the one that I did, I guess it wasn't on ESPN, but you get a first rounder, 2024 draft. But who are you willing to give up for that pick and Plumlee?
I mean, the pick's probably going to be pretty decent. So, I mean, I'd probably give up pretty much anybody not named, or those 4 young guys. I would be really hesitant to give away Agbaji or Sexton, but for sure not Markkanen or Kessler.
I mean, I'm thinking.
I'd probably say Kelly, Vando, and what's his name? Talon.
I don't know if they'd take that.
I mean, if they can get off Hayward's contract. I mean, if they get, I could see them doing it if they could get out of his contract.
But I don't even. Yeah, that trade failed.
Do they only want young? Are they trying to stay young?
Well, my thought is that they might want kind of a veteran, and Jordan Clarkson seems like someone that Michael Jordan would, take on with LaMelo Ball.
Yeah, they basically have that with Scary Terry.
Yeah.
Clarkson's probably, I don't know. I think Clarkson's probably better than Scary Terry.
I'm going to take THT off and see if Vando, Olynyk, and Clarkson work. No.
They're not even in the hunt for the playoffs.
Let me just look at the trade that I had on my phone because I saved it.
I think we'd have to give up good
players. Okay, here it is. Yeah, Kelly Olynyk. Yeah, look. Kelly Olynyk, Jordan Clarkson, Jared Vanderbilt for Hayward, Mason Plumlee, and a 2024 first-round pick.
2024, okay, yeah.
I mean, if Ainge really is telling the truth and not just kind of blowing smoke, and wants a 2024 pick, this would be, I believe, it gave the option of top 3 protected, unprotected. Obviously, you'd want probably unprotected, but if you could get top 3 protected, maybe, because these guys, unless they somehow get Wemby and LaMelo Ball is healthy, then they become relevant. But I think they're going to be pretty bad for a while, depending on how the draft goes.
Yeah, they'll be like Orlando for a little while.
So
yeah, even if they get Wemby, I think they're still 2 or 3 years away from doing anything serious. So
yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I think a lot of Jazz fans, like you said, would not want him back just because what went down here in Utah and how everything was handled. But as a GM, I mean, he's an upgrade on the wing position too. There were a few moves that he had tonight that were still pretty impressive. And I think if you were able to get someone to kind of work on his mentality, it just seems like his mentality is not there. And I don't know if he even cares to want to be one of the best players or the player that he used to be. Tonight he goes. Gordon Hayward goes 4 for 7, shot 57%, didn't take a 3-pointer, 11 points, 4 turnovers. Holy cow! 1 steal, 1 assist, 2 rebounds, but he led the team in negative plus minus at negative 22.
Excuse me. What a guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously the Charlotte Hornets are wanting to offload his contract.
Did he say
for the 2024 pick? Would they be willing to? They can't trade back to back. I guess they couldn't give away this year's.
I mean, I would do it. I would do it just for the draft pick because he's on for only 2 more years. So by the time you get that draft pick, he wouldn't be on the books anymore. But I mean, I'd give him 2 more years, and you never know if the Jazz fans, if he slowly started playing like he used to, if the Jazz fans would kind of change their tone.
Oh, they would, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it would be a hard pill to swallow at first, but I mean, if he's giving you better minutes at the 3 or the 2, you also become longer defensively. He was a good defender. I don't think his career is near being over, but you don't know the mentality of him. But Mason Plumlee, man, this dude, is he like the guy that we had that we waived in the beginning of the season? He's a little better than him.
Zeller?
Zeller, yeah.
Yeah, he's better than Zeller.
Similar style, but definitely better.
Yeah, he's more athletic than Zeller.
So Plumlee is averaging 12 points per game, 9 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game. He's a 7-footer.
Plumlee learned when he played with Jokic in Denver how to pass from the post.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
He just does everything really well. And I think if you can get him as an upgrade where Vando is, watching Vando tonight in person, guys, it's even more maddening than watching him on TV.
It is a tough pill to swallow.
Dude, it's so bad because
old scarecrow, man.
He doesn't have a brain.
Nothing between the ears.
I think he's all of those Wizard of Oz characters put into one character. He doesn't have a brain. He doesn't have any heart. He's gutless, and like when he drives to the basket, he just tries to get a foul and flops all over. But the way that he flops is he falls to the ground, and then he's giving up transition. And it's like, we're the worst transition team in the league, or one of them. And is it because of that? I mean, I don't get why we're one of the worst transition teams. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I don't know either, to be honest with you.
Because honestly, being a bad transition team is just lack of effort running back on defense most of the time. And like stopping the ball.
Right.
I gotta put that on
us shooting
guards.
enough threes, probably the long rebound and people just getting out ahead of us would be my guess. Yeah.
But Vando is I just pay attention more and more, and he's usually always the last guy back. And you've got to have your big long guy being one of the first ones back to defend. Unless he's crashing the boards, which he's not. He's laying on the baseline, dude, looking at the referee.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Or he's like diving for a loose.
It's weird because that used to be what frustrated me in the beginning of the season with Kelly O. Is Kelly O would flop a lot. Like, that's just naturally Kelly O's game. That's what he's made all of his money doing. But like Kelly hustles back on defense more than Jared, and I'm lost. I'm so confused.
When is Kelly coming back, man? He's been out a while.
Dude, I don't know, but I think it's crazy. Kelly being out has really exposed the interior defense of both units.
Yeah. Another question I have, because there was an article that came out and said that the only two that are untouchable are Kessler and Lauri. Would you stick Ochai into that group yet of untouchables?
Look at my username.
Goatchai. That answers my question for you.
So, if you're getting, if you get 3 first rounds from Charlotte, then I would include him. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's untouchable yet, but you'd have to get something. You'd have to get a haul for him, in my opinion.
And I really only think that Charlotte's only doing that trade if they're going to get young players back as well, or expiring contracts.
I think tonight, after tonight, seeing him go out, come back in, still be productive on both sides is a very, very positive sign for me. Like watching somebody that's trying to get minutes, watching somebody that's trying to prove himself and also learn this game and not make too many mistakes. I think he learns quickly, and I think his upside is, I wouldn't say it's massive, but his upside is very, very positive and encouraging. So if you have to include him in a trade to, get a good pick or, top it off and get a better player, it's a business. You got to do what you got to do, but I wouldn't want to at this point.
Yeah, I would probably lean with you on not wanting to. His last 5 games, tonight he scored 8 points. Versus Brooklyn, he scored 0. Versus Clippers, he scored 4. Minnesota, he scored 17. And Philadelphia, 3. But his scoring, to me, is a very small part of his game. He, like you said, has that toughness where I think he could become one of our best defenders. Maybe not surpass Kessler just because of his size, but when you need a lockdown defender on the wing, most of the time when he's guarding out on the 3-point line, he's contesting the shot and they're not hitting their 3-point shots when he contests, which makes me wonder what is special about him defensively where these 3-point shooters are not making their shots, because there's other players that can contest, put a hand up, and maybe they're not closing out as hard, but it seems like players are hitting the 3-point shot at a higher clip than against some of our other players. He's 6'5". I personally think his length is longer, like his wingspan has something to do with it. But yeah, he goes up for the dunk tonight, catches the rim, loses his balance and lands on his wrist, but then he comes back in and plays effectively. And there's a lot of players that don't have that toughness. They go out, kind of sit out, but I feel like I'm with you on this one. He's hungry. He wants to be here, and I think he is a perfect piece to grow alongside Lauri and Kessler.
And that's the argument for guys staying 4 years. Ochai learned that playing on, I believe Bill Self's still there, at Kansas, learning those things of how to defend. So he is more ready, and more ready to be an NBA player to defend. So.
I think this is from tonight's game, his interview. I kind of want to play this just since we're talking about him. It says, Ochai Agbaji, that's something that I've always helped myself to, is just staying consistent no matter what. Let's listen to this.
Sensitive to cat allergens?
Yes, I am sensitive to cat allergens. Oh, PetSmart. Purina Pro Plan.
PetSmart has to help you get closer than ever to your cat.
Oh, gosh.
PetSmart, anything for pets.
Yes.
Kind of just, different ways I can impact the game without scoring. Defensively, just all the stuff that I bring to the game, what is it that I bring to the game, watching film, going over it, and just learning game by game. So
when you're watching film, what is it that kind of coach or anyone else is bringing to your attention? Like, these areas need to improve. This was good.
Yeah, just some things defensively. Like Coach says, physicality was a big thing in last night's game, offensively and defensively. But just some things from the past games where I could be better and smarter, just on assignments and stuff like that too.
Everyone on this team talks about your athleticism. Do you notice that you get to the NBA and right, it's best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
Do you go out there and feel man, even against that, I've got something going for me, something that works.
Yeah, in a way, humbly in a way, yeah, I would say I do belong, with the athletes that are in the NBA, and I feel like I do belong with them. So, just kind of keeping that mindset and keeping that approach to everything that I do in the game. So,
how do you adjust to teams that are now adjusting to you? They're closing out on you a little bit more. They're trying to figure out some things that you like to do defensively to try to counter that as well. So how do you adjust to that?
More film, more studying the game, and really just making the smart play. Knowing that that teams will be, changing up how they defend me, closing out stronger, closing out with the hand up. So, I'm going to have to drive, get to the paint, and play off two or make the right play. So just being focused on that and just being ready to shoot when I do get that split second of time. I think that's always crucial too, because when teams are flying at you, you're always kind of get into that drive mindset because they're going to be closing out, but also you still got to be ready to shoot when that opportunity is available.
We've been talking a lot about how it wasn't just one day you woke up and was I wish I was ready today. But it was kind of a constant thing of seeing the work you did behind the scenes, the stars. You kind of take us through when you were kind of started, were working with them, what was kind of the day-to-day focus?
Just how it is now. I think that's something that I've always held myself to, is just staying consistent no matter what, whether things are going good or whether things are going bad. Not necessarily bad, but not the way I want them to. Just keeping consistent in my work and not letting anything change, whether I do have success or not. So.
What's the next area where you're going to focus on? What you'd like to see incremental improvement?
Just making more plays off the dribble, being implemented into the offense more. As far as looking for my shot more, being more aggressive when I get the ball, and also just creating plays for other people, but being smart about it too.
Is it hard to kind of take all the information that's coming at you right now? Because you're working with the stars. There's a lot of people that are giving you info, feedback, criticism there. The staff here. I saw you talking to Danny Ainge a few weeks ago. He was trying to get you to do more athletic when you were coming around screens.
Yeah.
There's info coming from everywhere. How do you decide what to listen to and what to focus on?
Yeah, that's kind of with us. All the guys that are here in this position, all the guys in Jazz, everyone in the NBA, their growth and their path. They kind of have to. Everyone, in basketball, as a player, you kind of have to pick and choose. You can't really take in everything and listen to everybody, but at the same time, it's respect that they are trying to help. Take it, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But still respect that they're taking the time out to help your improvement.
I heard before that you were a multi-sport star. Coming up. What made you? I guess it is simple as you being grown up 6'5", 6'6", or whatever. That made you focus on basketball.
Yeah, I used to always think that it was kind of height that made me stop soccer, but then I realized that Cristiano Ronaldo is 6'5" too. So he's doing just fine, as a soccer player. So really, it was more, what I felt, what was the best for me. At that time, I had no offers or any interest for soccer, really. But then I started getting more interest for basketball, and I was like, I can actually do something with this. So kind of just led into that.
Which players were you into when you were growing up?
In soccer or basketball?
Both.
Kevin Durant, I'd say, is number one. Kind of sucks he didn't get to play last night. Obviously he's hurt, but No, he's been my favorite player since I've been watching the NBA for real.
What did you like about his game?
Just the way obviously he's just a killer. Like, he just has that killer instinct, but he really doesn't show it in his face. He's kind of just like, what's his name, man? People call him like the Slim Reaper in a way, you know. But that's kind of how I carry myself, I'd say. Just not really a lot of talking, but just let the game do its talking for itself. So.
Have you had one of those NBA moments where...
All right, that's good. That's good. See, another thing I like about him is just the way that he carries himself and handles the media. You can tell he's a sharp kid, thinks out what he's going to say. And one thing that stood out to me in that interview is that the reporter said, you know, you've got Danny Ainge coming up to you and telling you how to come off of screens. And for Danny Ainge to come and talk to him, I don't know if he talks to every single player, but that says something to me that Danny Ainge is trying to coach him and sees that he could be a piece here in Utah. While that interview was going on, I was looking through some other videos, looking at Coach Hardy's and some of the highlights, and I think I left at this point of the game, so we're going to have to watch it. Udoka Azubuike highlight. It says 0 points. I don't know if it's a highlight or a low light, but I'm about to play it. It is in, let's see, the 2-minute mark in the fourth quarter. Oh, that's loud. Hang on. Oh, is it a defensive block? What do you got? Oh, Doak. Oh, it's not playing the video on YouTube. That sucks. Why is it blocking that? But it plays Ochai's interview. Let's try and play it one more time, see if it plays. Nope, sorry guys. You're just going to have to go search for it on YouTube. Doak's lone highlight of 2023. Well, I appreciate you guys getting on. I am exhausted, and to be honest, this wasn't the best game, or entertaining game, I guess you could say. But you guys got any more thoughts on the other side of the mic?
Yeah, I was just going to touch on one thing that stood out to me that Ochai said was he keeps his hands up. And I've noticed one thing about on defense with Rudy Gay. I think part of the reason why we keep him around for so long is because he is a good defender, and he is one guy that does keep his hands up and gets his hands in the way of the players seeing the rim, whether it's right up in their face or and I don't know that back on that article that somebody wrote about that Celtics player that Will Hardy coached, that even if you just jump and get in the view of the player's view, you're blocking their view. So I think there's a lot to that, is just breaking their view of the rim just for even a split second would help you defensively.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's one thing that did stand out to me about his interview, that post-game interview.
Yeah, it's and maybe that's the reason why so many people are not hitting 3-point shots against him. Maybe his hands are just always up, and that does make a huge difference in even a split second, being able to contest or being able to cut their vision off towards the basket. As I'm looking on NBA.com right now and the highlights are sliding past, we forgot there was a trade today in the NBA. Hachimura to the Los Angeles Lakers. My thought is, does this make the Lakers better? Doesn't seem like it's gonna put them over the edge. But then also my second thought was, man, I wish the Jazz could have got Rui. I think he'd be a perfect fit here in Utah with these young guys.
I think it helps the Lakers in the standings, maybe as far as making it into the play-in, but I don't think it helps them getting into the top 6 of the West. But I mean, if it bumps down Minnesota or us, I'm all for that.
Yeah, and there's some.
I do kind of. I'm at the point where I'd much rather us just freaking win and just go balls to walls.
Yeah.
if we're gonna be tanking in 2025 or whatever, then we might as well just go and try to win this year too.
Yeah.
And then 24 too.
Well, and I'm looking around the association, and there's some scores that pop out to you, and the feeling in my bones is there's going to be a trade that goes down to make us a better team now. I could be completely wrong, but I've got some old bones that have been around, and I like to think that they're right. But Boston loses to Orlando tonight.
Jonathan Isaac came off the bench.
Yeah, dude.
I guess he was guarding Jason Tatum pretty well tonight. So
how did he look? Did you watch any of that?
I watched the parts of the first half, and then I didn't watch anymore. He looked good. He looked like he was.
I know that you've been high on him.
Yeah, I like him a lot just because of his length, and he was a highly sought after draft pick, and I hope, and none of these players, even Gordon Hayward for that matter, when they have those gruesome injuries, you just want to see the best ball being played on the floor, and those guys going down, it just sucks. Period. So.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a good team if they get Suggs healthy, Bonchero, and then they've got a good draft pick this year. Possibly could add Wemby. I mean, I think they're gonna be a good team pretty soon here. My wife just walked in, and I'm gonna have to show. No, we're good. Except your mic is super loud, Dallin.
Oh, sorry. I'm just gonna say one more thing.
Yeah.
And I'll mute myself. They kept repeating that the Jazz 50 games in got to 25 wins, and Vegas had us projected at 24.5. So at 50 games in, we already beat Vegas's predictions.
Wow, that's sweet. Yeah, I think we can easily go to top 4 seed. Tonight you have Houston beating Minnesota, which is great for us. We want to see Minnesota lose as much as possible. Sacramento, dude. Sacramento is on something. That ever since they got the beam, I feel like it's given them that juice from Space Jam that they drink at halftime. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I wish the Jazz would get something like that because they just kicked the crap out of Memphis and have been on a roll ever since they played us. I believe we were within one game, and just to think, like, I don't think they're that much better than us. But they're on a roll, and I think you add something or something in our players' head clicks, the chemistry. All we have to do, like Snyder always said, is be playing good basketball at the right time, and I think I think we have a good chance of being top 4 in the West, but.
Sorry, I wanted to add one more thing to that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just popped into my head. I was just thinking about it before. I was like, what should I say on the podcast tonight? But another thing was our schedule's going to get so much easier now. We had such a brutal part of the first half. I could see us, playing like we go, close to 44 wins or more. So.
Yeah, and Coach hit on that in his post-game interview. I can't remember who asked the question, but they said, what's it like finally being home? And he's like, it makes such a difference for us. You've got all your equipment. You're not getting on an airplane every other night. Mentally, it's good for balance. Players get to be around their family. We can recover, get our legs back under us, and yeah, I just think we have a better chance of going up than down because of our schedule and because of what we did in the beginning of the season. If something goes down with the trade and it improves our team this year, I'm going to be really excited. My wife just walked in. Obviously, she works at Arena, and she brought me these Lauri Markkanen. If you're on YouTube, if you're not, you're going to have to go back and watch the finisher posters that they had with the ice behind him. And one of her coworkers was saving one for me, and she when we got on TV with the yellow jerseys and blew up that one game against the Clippers, she actually gave me her Lauri Markkanen poster, and she said, "Well, I think you're a bigger fan." She's like, "It's the last one, but I want you to have it." Well, my wife just, I don't know. She must have found these in the arena somewhere. One, let's see how many she brought in. 2, 3, 4. So these are rare. These are rare, baby. Come straight from the arena. But I'm going to be giving these away now. I was going to give my one loan away, and then I was like, man, I kind of want to be selfish, but...
Get Lauri to sign him, man.
Yeah.
You go to enough games, you'll probably get him to sign.
I think it's going to happen where I can get his signature. My wife's given me some insider tips on how to. And Dallin, you got whose signatures did you get that night that we went?
So I got Jordan Clarkson's and Lauri Markkanen. So the key point, I guess, to get signatures is either you go to the parking garage and you go like 3 hours before when the players are pulling in, or when they leave the Grand America. I think the visiting players go there. And then if you're at the shoot around, if you're there between 5:30, somewhere in between there, as soon as the players are done warming up, they come back to the players' tunnel, and there's a group of people that wait there, and the security guard lets them down to go get signatures, and they sign for about 5 minutes each player.
That's awesome. So did you go to the Grand America too?
No, I did not, but I was just Lauri signed the finisher basketball shirt, so
that's awesome.
And
I was wanting to get Kawhi's signature too. He's been one of my favorite players. But yeah, we'll get it worked out. So if you're interested, follow on YouTube or Twitter for free Jazz gear, free tickets probably in the future. I've got Lauri's signed stuff as well, but probably gonna go get more jerseys on the way. We're doing something special for All-Star Weekend. You've got to stay tuned. If anybody saw the poster that I made of Lauri Markkanen, of all his poster dunks, I decided to put them on one poster, and I got that idea from Wob. Worldwide Wob, because he had the Clarkson dunk over LeBron and Westbrook, and he started adding people, and he said, as long as the Jazz keep above 500, I'll add stars from the other players while we drop below 500. So I thought, hey, every poster that Lauri has, every big dunk, I'm just going to continue to add people onto that. I also made a pretty awesome YouTube video. It's about 2 minutes long to a song.
Good work on that, by the way.
Yeah, it was fun. While I was editing, dude, I was just laughing, and it brought me a lot of joy because, like, man, we have a really good player. I don't think people realize how good Lauri is, and this might be premature, but I think he has a chance to be in the MVP conversation. Like, seriously, MVP. I think he might be in conversations, right? Like in the running, like maybe top 10, top 15 right now. But I think he has a legitimate chance to be in like the top 5, top 3 in a couple years, depending on how his game develops and depending on if he continues to develop like he has here. He's just an incredible 7-footer that can do a lot of different things. And if he's given the keys to the franchise and knows he's the player, sky's the limit for him to me. It's kind of like Kevin Durant. You know, he's so tall that people just have a tough time blocking his shot or affecting it. I don't think he'll ever become the ball handler that Durant is, but the dude's putting up Dirk Nowitzki numbers. I mean, we've looked at it. Dirk Nowitzki MVP numbers. He's right there. The only thing that isn't matching that is his assists. And really, Dirk was averaging, I believe, in his MVP year, like 3.4. So it's not like something that's unattainable. You know, you get a few more shooters or scorers around Lauri, and he's a Dirk. I think he's more aggressive and can dunk better than Dirk. I don't know that
he's so efficient though, man.
Yeah.
Like,
his usage rate
might even be more efficient than Dirk was.
Yeah, I agree. And his usage rate is incredible. And he's 25 years old. I don't know how old Dirk was. I don't think it really matters, but his numbers are eerily similar to Dirk's MVP year in 2007. And we might be watching a really special talent and someone that will go down in Jazz history for a long time. So there was one other thing I wanted to hit on, and now I can't remember. Oh, yeah. Standings. Let's look at standings real quick just to see where the league is, and then I gotta go to bed, man. So we're currently in 8th place. We are sitting right at 500 at 25-25. Memphis Grizzlies are in 2nd place. I love that Sacramento beat them tonight. That just adds more parity to what's happening in the West. So essentially, we are 2 games. Sacramento has won 3 more games than us. New Orleans has won 2 more games than us. And Memphis has won 6 more games than us. So like it's not a crazy idea that we'll be top 4. We are half a game behind the Clippers in 6th place. 1 game behind Dallas in 5th place. 2.5 games behind New Orleans, and 4 games behind Sacramento. So we go on a little winning streak. We're 6-4 in the last 10. Sacramento 7-3, Memphis is 7-3, but New Orleans, Dallas, Clippers, and Suns, who are all ahead of us, are below 500 in the last 10 games. New Orleans is at 3-7 the last 10 games. Dallas is at 3-7 the last 10 games. Clippers are 4-6 the last 10 games, and Phoenix is 4-6. So like we're trending up. All these other teams ahead of us, up until Sacramento, are trending down, and we go to Sacramento or Portland the next game, which should be. I never want to say easy, but should be a very gettable game. And then we head back home for another homestand. I see us jumping up to at least 6th place by the time our homestand's over, if not higher. And man, I'm excited. We're getting into more the last 30 or so games, and this is really when you can kind of see the playoff picture start taking form, and we're right there. We're 8th place. I mean, if there's not a playing game, we're in the playoffs right now, playing Denver Nuggets, and we beat Denver. Like, it's the crazy thing is the seeding this year. Obviously, it matters for home court, but it's so up in the air that it's like if we were an 8 seed playing number 1 Denver, I don't think we beat them. But I think we give them a run for their money, and it's a very entertaining series. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited to have an entertaining series in the playoffs after having heartbreak in the playoffs for the last couple of years. And even if we lose, like, it's not going to be the heartbreak that we experienced. It's gonna be hopeful because it's a new team, our first year together, a new coach, a new all-star player, a new rookie, maybe 2 rookies. We've got draft picks. Like, every time I start talking about the position the Jazz are in, I get excited. So I appreciate you guys for listening. We just hit like 22,000 views on YouTube, which is crazy how fast we've blown up. We were kind of YouTube has just taken over our views and listenerships compared to what's happening on podcast platforms. So if you're listening on podcast platforms, I appreciate it, but it's really more interactive to go on YouTube. I'd rather you listen on YouTube because there's things that I show, like the Lauri posters, the stats, the videos, and yeah, stay tuned. We're going to be giving away all-star giveaways, and I am still coming up with ideas on how to enter. I was going to do a wheel that spins and put all of our followers in there, but I couldn't get the data to do it quickly enough from Twitter. If anybody knows how to do that, where you can get basically all your Twitter followers' handles so that I can just like copy and paste into another sheet or another like Excel spreadsheet. That'd be helpful. Yeah, go Jazz. Another big win tonight. And we will see you guys, I believe, Wednesday at Portland, taking on Damian Lillard and the Portland Trailblazers. Good night.